My YouTube is up now. All right, hello everybody. Hello Moritz. Good to see you. Hello Linda. Hello, is it Juliana? And Flando. Hello Charles. If you have questions, now is the time to ask. You can raise your hand even and come talk to me. Hello. So, welcome to my live stream. I am an English teacher. If you have questions about English, you can ask me, and I will do my best to help you. Whoops, what did I just do? There we go. Hello, Maria. Thank you, Mehmet. Hello, Nero. Hello, Sophia. I'm eating a little bit of breakfast, sorry. I'm doing fine, how are you? Good. I'm okay. So, we're here to talk about English, yeah? What are the different words we can say? You can say this, or you can say that. Those are your choices. This and that. Who do we have? Okay, well, let me start. How about we do it this way? How about if I ask you a question? How many of you have trouble with... Okay, let's start with an easy one. Who has trouble with pronunciation? Hello, Zoe. Welcome. Hola. You're welcome. Who has trouble with pronunciation? Maria says sometimes. Nero, you're from the U.S. Why do you have trouble? Oh, you're from India. Okay, so come on. Who has trouble with pronunciation? Silver tuna. Silver tuna. I have never heard that term before, Igor. I have never heard silver tuna before. I just looked it up, and apparently it means the best of the best. That's what we usually say, is the best of the best. Yeah, it says it's not in common use. I believe it's a UK saying, and I believe even in the UK, I think it's not commonly used. Okay? Okay, how about who has trouble with vocabulary? If you have trouble with pronunciation, tell me what your problem is. If you have trouble with vocabulary, tell me what your problem is. You saw it in the Home Alone movie. Funny. Huh. How about that? Yeah, that is in the movie, huh? That's the silver tuna. Right, they're saying that that's like the best house to rob, right? Interesting. I didn't pay attention to that. Even back then, nobody's ever brought that up to me before. Good catch. Good catch. But it isn't a commonly known expression. So it's a funny thing to use in a movie. Because I guarantee probably most people who have ever watched that movie did not know what that means. Maybe they could imply what it means. Right? They might be able to guess the meaning, but they probably don't know it from past experience. I posted some pictures about English. Can I read the poem in the sixth picture? What did I post? Let's see. Dearest creature in creation, study English pronunciation. I will teach you in my verse sounds like corpse, core, horse, and worse. I will keep you, Susie, busy. Make your head with heat grow dizzy. Tear in eye your dress will tear. So shall I, oh hear my prayer. Just compare heart, beard, and herd. Dies and diet, lord and word. Sword and sward, retain and Britain. Mind the latter, how it's written. Now I surely will not plague you with such words as plague and ague. But be careful how you speak. Say break and stake, but bleak and streak. Cloven oven, how and low. Script, receipt, show, poem, and toe. There you go. That's the whole poem. Anna says, I find it difficult to pronounce the sound R. Okay, Anna, I can help you with this one. So, Anna, the American R sound is not that different than the Chinese number 2. So, how do you say 2 in Chinese? E R R R, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 right? 9 8 不好意思. I said them the wrong way, and I said bar instead of 八九. So the point is, the number 2 in Chinese, just put a C in front of the number 2 in Chinese. And if you put a C in front of the number 2, you get the word car. Right? So 1 2 car. 差不多. Okay? So the word car is a good word to practice because the hard C makes it easier for you to pronounce that sound. K, R. Because when you make a K sound, your mouth is already open. And you should start with an open mouth to make the R sound. Car. Okay? You also have a problem that's going to be hard then, Anna. I'll tell you what, Anna. I probably still can help you, but I'll need you to come on stage so I can hear you and see your mouth and help you to fix things. Okay? So I can probably help you fix your pronunciation of both the Chinese and the English word. But I need to see you and hear you. Okay? Do you want to come on stage? Let me do some surgery on your voice. You want to learn the IELTS, but the lessons are very difficult? Well, the IELTS is a difficult test. So yes, I think it takes at least 6 months to 1 year to prepare for the IELTS test. Okay? Have I seen the new Jethro Tull song? Its title is Curious Ruminant. I don't. Ruminant is a word that means any animal that has multiple stomachs, like a cow is a ruminant. A cow is a ruminant animal. I'm pretty sure that's right. Let me double check to make sure. Ruminant. Yep. Cloven-hooved, cud-chewing quadrupeds including cattle, sheep, goats, bison, buffalo, deer, antelopes, giraffes. All of those are ruminants. Okay, giraffes, deer, antelope, cows, they all are ruminants. Okay, so curious ruminant means like curious cow. And by the way, there's a girl on Hello Talk that I'm friends with who lives in, I believe, Luxembourg, if I remember correctly. And when Jethro Tull is on tour, she plays violin with them sometimes. She's on Hello Talk. Your vocabulary is very empty after a long break for 3 years. Okay, I think a better way to say that would be, let me think, like choose a good word. Let's see. You could say deteriorated. You could say deteriorated. My vocabulary has deteriorated or diminished or even degenerated. You could also say declined. You could say... You could say weakened. Okay? Or a slang way to say it would be, you could say, for the last 3 years, I have slacked off on my vocabulary. To slack off, which means to be lazy about something, to slack off. The biggest problem, okay, yeah, so again, if you can come on the stage, I can help you. Hello, Belen. You applied to come on stage. Awesome. So let's talk to Anna, and let me see what I can do to help Anna. Hello, Anna. How are you?
Oh, hello.
Do you want me to turn off? Oh, there you go. You got it.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Good. Well, thank you for coming on stage. So, you said you have trouble with the R sound in English, and you also have trouble with the R sound in Chinese.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay. So, can you just say 1, 2, 3 for me in Chinese?
1、2、3。
Okay. I think I can help you. It's okay. It's okay. Guess what, Anna? What is my name?
Mike.
Mark. My name is Mark, teacher Mark. There are 2 names in English that sound similar. One is Mike, M-I-K-E, and the other one is Mark, M-A-R-K. Okay? But when I was a boy, I actually couldn't pronounce my own name right.
Yeah.
So when I was a boy, I didn't say Mark, I said Mark. Just like you. Your R sound is more like an ah sound, not an R. So you're halfway there. You almost have the sound, but you're only doing the first half of the sound, right? So if I say the word Mark, the first half is ma, ma, like the word horse in Chinese, right? Ma. Right? So now, after you do that, now you have to do the R part of it, which is where let's look at my mouth and let's see if we can figure out.
Okay.
R. Look at my tongue. Did you see what happened to my tongue?
R.
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 That's better. You're getting there. Okay. Now, I want you to think about the sound that a tiger makes. What does a tiger sound like? Can you make that sound? That's good. Then do it again. Do it. No. That was perfect. Do it again. Very good. That's the R sound. You just did it. You just did it. You had your tongue and your mouth in the right position for the R sound. Do it again and make it longer, Anna. Make it longer. Like a tiger. Yeah, you're getting it. So what you need to do is every day you need to practice sounding like a tiger. Okay? Because what will happen is if you sound like a tiger, then your mouth will learn what that feeling is of the R sound. Your mouth will become comfortable with that mouth position. And that's what you need to make the R sound, right? So you need to do 2 things. One, you need to try to make the R sound starting with the open mouth, ah, right? So like my name, Mark.
Mark.
Very good. That's much better. You're improving already, okay? And then the word car is a good word because that hard C in the beginning, it lets you throw the sound out of your mouth, right? So try saying the word car.
Car.
Almost, but now I want you to put these 2 things together. I want you to do the word car, and then at the end, I want you to make a sound like a tiger. Car.
Car.
Do it again. That was better. Come on. Jayo.
Car.
One more time. Longer. Car. Like a tiger.
Cow.
There you go. That's it. That's it. Like sometimes we make that sound when we're angry too. I can't believe he did that. Okay, that's the R sound. You're getting there. Okay, Anna. And yeah,
Okay.
I had the same problem when I was a boy. My R sounds all sounded like an ah sound, not an R. Okay, and so yeah, my own name, I didn't say Mark, I said Mock. Okay, so I had to learn how to say my name with this R sound, and I had to go to a speech therapist to learn. Okay, so the things I'm
Okay.
showing you are things that like a speech therapist might do to help you learn how to make the R sound. Because many people, Anna, many people have trouble with the R from China. Many people. But you are in a unique case. You're special because you have trouble with it in English and in Chinese. So that means that this is a speech, what we call impediment, which means just that there's one kind of sound that you have trouble making. And that's all. Yeah, but it can be fixed. It can be fixed. I can say my name fine now, right? The R sound. I know how to do it now. So you just need to learn how to do it. And you need to look at my mouth and really remember. Look what it sounds like. R. R.
Oh.
And pull the sound, Anna. Pull it. Make it long. Pull the sound. Okay?
Long.
Yeah, make it long. The longer you make it, the more your brain has time to learn what you're doing. And your mouth has time to learn how to be comfortable with that sound, right? So if you make it only very short, you're only practicing it for a very small amount of time. But if you make it long, you're practicing it for a longer time. Okay?
Okay.
So you're doing fine. And what I would suggest, Anna, is you need to write down a list of a bunch of R words. Okay? A lot of them. Make a whole paper full of R words. And then every day, I want you to try to think about this same thing that we just did with the word car, right? And all of the R sounds, I want you to make them long and pull them. Make them long and pull them, okay? This is true for any of you. If you guys have any problems with any kind of sound in English, whatever sound that is, slow down, figure out what that sound is, and then I want you to extend it, which means to make it longer so that you can practice it and really listen and figure out what the problem is, right? If the sound is too short, it doesn't give you enough time to understand the problem, and it doesn't give you enough time to learn what to fix or how to do it better. So the longer you make it, the more improvement you can make. Okay?
Okay.
So here's what I want you to do is I want you to write down a list of a bunch of R words on a piece of paper or a note in your phone, and then practice them every day with this same technique that I just gave you. And next week, I want you to come back and come on stage again, and we'll see if you've gotten some improvement.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I will
受能生巧。
practice every day.
Yeah, 你需要。
Thank you.
Okay.
谢谢。
All right, Bukachi. All right, well, good luck to you. And again, it's not that uncommon. This problem that you have I had that problem too. So if I can fix it, you can too. It just takes a little time, and you need some help from somebody who understands the problem, right? I'm sure you have speech therapists in China too, just like we have here. And that problem is actually very common in the United States. Young children, many young children have difficult time with the R sound. And they sound like you, or what I used to sound like, Mark, not Mark, right? So, yeah, and make it longer and bigger. And Anna, that's the other thing I say to people about, if you're Chinese and you're learning English,
Like water.
yeah, but the difference between Chinese language and English language is Chinese uses a small mouth. When you speak, everything is a small mouth. But when you speak English, if you want to speak very clearly, my words are very clear because look how big my mouth is when I speak. Okay? So, 如果我说中文，我需要用好小的口。可是如果我说英文，我需要用好大的口。
Oh, that's difference.
Yeah. Yeah, Chinese uses a big mouth, or a small mouth. I'm sorry. I call Chinese is a small mouth language. English is a big mouth language. Okay? Yeah. So make your mouth bigger when you practice the vowel sounds, especially A, E, I, O, U, A, E, I, O, Okay? And Anna, if you want, you can send me a private message, and I can maybe even give you a few private lessons, and I can probably help you much, much more. You know, right now I only have a few minutes, but if you get some private lessons with me, I think I can probably fix your problem in a few lessons. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. No problem. And don't worry about it too much. It's not that big of a problem, even if you do say it that way. There are some famous people who still talk like that, who use that same pronunciation. And that's just what we expect from them now. So don't worry too much about it, okay? And actually, if you go to America, if you come to America, guess what, Anna? There are a couple of places in the United States where that's what the R sounds like. So, for example, if you go to the city of Boston, in Massachusetts, in the United States, the people of Boston have a special accent. They don't say park the car, they say park the car.
Oh,
yeah, so if you just sound like you're from Boston. That's all. You're just a Boston Chinese girl. That's all. So, all right, Anna. Well, good luck to you. And like I said, make sure you come back and see me again, or come get some lessons with me and I can help you more, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. All right. So that was a good start. Pronunciation problems. And that was very brave of Anna, too. You know, it takes courage to come on stage, especially when you have something like a speech problem, you know, or a pronunciation problem. I think that takes more courage. So well done, Anna. Hello, Mona. Hello, Auditor-in-Chief. That's an interesting name. Hello, Baha, Enrica, and Amir. Okay, so again, if you have questions about English, ask me. I am here to answer your English questions. How can you improve your speaking? Well, Morteza, tell me more about your problem. What's your problem with speaking? Yeah, by practicing is the simple answer. That's the basic answer. But tell me more about your problem. What is your problem with speaking? Are you too shy? Do you have a limited vocabulary? Is your pronunciation a problem? Do you stumble over your words or get nervous? What's the problem? Hello, Wendy. Ishal wants vocabulary. Okay, so again, Ishal, what's the problem? Sarara says, even if I know vocabulary, I don't remember it when I'm speaking. Okay. Being shy is really a problem. DK, flower and flower there is no difference. There is no difference in the pronunciation of flower, Flower, and flower, Flour. And as a matter of fact, DK, the origin of the word flower, Flour, it originally comes from the French word meaning flower. Okay, the French word meaning flower is Fleur. So they changed one letter. They changed one letter. So the French word for flour is fleur, right? Fleur. The English word for flour, meaning bread making material, is flour. Okay? All right. So let's get back to vocabulary. There were some people asking about vocabulary, and you can't remember your vocabulary. How many people know the answer that I'm going to give? If you can't remember vocabulary, what's the problem? Do you guys know what my answer is going to be? Some of you have watched me many times. You should know my answer. You forget about the right words in the right situations, so it causes stops. Right. Okay. Because you don't use them. Right. Right. And you don't have an opportunity to use them. Right? You don't have an opportunity to use them. So because you don't have an opportunity to use them with your mouth, how else can you use them? If you can't use words with your mouth, isn't there another way that you can use words and practice them? Think about it. How can you use words without speaking? Anyone? How can you use words without speaking? Nora says, use them in our daily life, even with ourselves. You're close. Maria says, writing. You're close. Baha says, in front of a mirror. You're close. Amir says, you can't. You can. Bellen's got the answer I'm looking for. Bellen has got the answer. The answer is thinking, everybody. Okay, let me put it to you this way. Here is your problem with language. Most of you, your problem with language is that you spend all your time thinking in your native language and none of your time thinking in English. If you spent more time thinking in English, using your English mind, then your English words would be ready anytime you want to use them. So your big problem is that you never practice English thinking. And therefore, you never get an opportunity to speak. And therefore, you don't practice enough to remember. You don't practice enough to remember. Okay? Rose says, you mean speaking English with an English mind? Yes, kind of. Yeah, I mean, do whatever you do in your daily life, but do it in English in your mind. Okay? But how can we think about those words? Should I make sentences mentally? Right, that's what you should do. You should make sentences mentally, okay? And in the beginning, it's really hard to think of sentences in the beginning because there are so many things you don't know. But you just need to sit down and write them down until you do know them. Right? So if you don't know how to say computer in English, then write it down in your native language and learn how to say computer. Okay? Ashraf says, I think the problem is between my mind and translating what I want to say. Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to tell you, Ashraf, is that when I speak Chinese, I don't translate anything. I just use my Chinese brain and then speak Chinese. You just haven't developed your English brain. So everything you think, you have to translate. How? That's my secret. That's my secret. You have to learn, okay? So, I will explain how to think in English again. I've done this a billion times. I will explain how to think in English again. Let me answer a few questions from some other people, some small questions. How to think in English is a big question. It'll take me about 5 or 10 minutes to explain the answer. Let me answer a few other questions, and then I'll come back to how to think in English, okay? I promise. All right? All right, let's get to the questions. So many questions coming in now, suddenly. Happy birthday. It's not my birthday. Why do you think it's my birthday? Can I pronounce the word supercalifragilisticexpialidocious? I can, and it just means great. And it's a made-up word from a play, from a musical, Mary Poppins. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Okay. Let's see. The next question is... I will come back to thinking in English. I promise. I will explain it. Let me just try to knock out a few other small questions. You're welcome, Anna. Okay, Cole says, my level of English is B1. How can I improve my English to B2 or C1? Tell me what you're doing now, and then I'll tell you what you should be doing. Okay, so Cole, I can't really tell you how to improve until I know what your plan is. Do you have a plan? Have you made a plan yet to sit down and figure out how I can do this? How are you going to improve your vocabulary? How are you going to improve your reading for B2 or C1? How are you going to improve your writing for B2 or C1? Have you just thought about that much? That's what you need to do. First, sit down and think about every part of language and how you can try to challenge yourself to push yourself. So my answer, Cole, is if you want to become better, if you want to advance, then you must challenge yourself. You have to push yourself. If you're not advancing, you're probably not pushing yourself enough. Okay? All right. And if we speak and think in English, you will dream in English. It shows you're going the right way. That's exactly right. Yeah. How can you use ChatGPT to improve your speaking skills? Talk to ChatGPT. Tell ChatGPT you want to practice English with it, that it should be an English practice speaking partner for you, an English speaking practice partner for you, okay? That's what you should tell ChatGPT, and just say, yeah, can we have some simple conversations to help me improve my speaking? And it will. Okay. 7LM has an interview tomorrow. You want help? The only help you need, 7LM, is this. Job interviews are about one thing: confidence. If you want a job, you have to walk in there like you have the confidence to have that job, like you belong there. Okay? If you go into an interview and you look like you don't belong there, then you're not going to get the job. So, you don't need to worry about, stuff. What you need to do is learn how to relax and believe in yourself and be confident. Okay? Okay, and everybody, please don't write your question more than one time. Just write your question one time. I promise I'll read it and I'll try to answer it, okay? Do I think grammar is an essential part of English? Because I'm so afraid of making any mistakes while speaking it. I like this question. So let me say it again. Do you think grammar is an essential part of learning English? Because I'm so afraid of making any mistakes while speaking. What Rose just said is a very important point. Many people ask me, is grammar important? Okay, and I tell them it is, but not that important. And you worry that your grammar's not good, okay, and that's a problem. But if you worry about grammar so much that you never practice, or that you're worried too much to speak, that is a much, much bigger problem than bad grammar. Being too afraid to speak means you're too afraid to practice. If you are too afraid to practice, you will never improve. So, which one is worse? Bad grammar or being afraid to speak? Being afraid to speak is much worse. Okay? And you can learn from your mistakes if you make them. But if you don't make any mistakes, you can't learn from them. So you shouldn't run away from mistakes. You should hug them. Mistakes are there to help you learn. Okay? Be bold with your mistakes. Make bold mistakes. Be happy that you're making mistakes. I taught a private student earlier today. She's Chinese. She's 8 or 9 years old. And one of the things I love about her is she's not afraid to make mistakes, and she's not afraid to say, I don't know. And that's the sign of someone very smart. Yeah, those are signs of someone very smart. Reading original English books is the best way to cultivate English thinking, isn't it? I wouldn't say it's the best way, but it is a good way. It's a very, very good way. When you read English, if you get good at reading, then you stay in that English mind, right? So the reason why reading is a good way to practice English is because reading involves constant thinking in that language, right? So it's a way to engage your brain to stay in an English mind because you're reading English. All I'm asking you to do is just turn your life into an English book, okay, where you think about English rather than your native language, okay? All right. You're bored to talk to strangers? How can you fix it? Find better strangers. Or, Tanya, find strangers. I like to answer that way. Meaning, maybe you need to find some people who are more interesting to talk to. So instead of finding just any stranger, find a strange stranger. Find somebody who's weird, who's interesting, who's different, who's artistic, who's special somehow. Not just some guy. If you're just bored, maybe it's because they're just not interesting to you. Find somebody who is interesting to you. Okay? Don't tell me you're not interested in anybody. Come on. It's just not true. Thank you, Amir. I do my best. Okay. Now, let me go back and talk about how to think in English. Okay? You guys were all wanting to know how to think in English. So, step 1, baby English. Step 1 is baby English. Can you think like a baby? What do babies think about, everybody? Babies think about what they want, what they need, what they like and don't like, and how they feel. Okay? So, I feel tired. I feel happy. I feel sad. I feel hungry. I feel angry. Those are easy things to think. Those are easy things to think. Right? I like this, I don't like that. I have this, I want this, I don't want that. I need this, I don't need that. Those are simple things to think. Okay? Like, don't like. Want, don't want. Need, don't need. And then how you feel. I feel, blah, blah, blah. Now, the problem is you have those kinds of simple thoughts all the time. Our minds have simple thoughts all the time through the day. Okay? Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm hungry. Ooh, that's cool. I like that. Oh, I don't like that. You have simple thoughts throughout your day, but all of your simple thoughts, you are not practicing in English. You are using your native language to practice all your simple thoughts. Stop. These are simple thoughts. This is a perfect opportunity for you to practice because they're not difficult. Okay? So, starting today, have all your simple baby thoughts in English. And babies don't care about grammar because babies don't know grammar. Right? Babies don't know grammar, so babies don't care about grammar. So have all your simple thoughts in English from now on. That's step 1. How to think in English. Step 2, elementary school English. Elementary school English means asking a lot of questions because that's what kids between the ages of 5 and 6, or no, let's say 5 and 12. Between the ages of 5 and 12, kids ask a lot of questions. Who's that? What are we doing? Where are you going? Why? When? Where? How? They ask a lot of questions. They're not difficult questions, but they just ask a lot of questions, right? So you should do the same thing with your English mind. Everywhere you go, every day, try to look around you and ask simple questions in English and answer them in English. Where am I? Oh, I'm in my studio room. What am I doing? Oh, I'm having my live stream. Why? Oh, well, I'm helping people learn. When? Well, it's 11 o'clock in the morning. Where? Well, I'm in the United States. Right? Ask as many questions as you can and answer as many questions as you can. All right? And then, that's step 2. Step 3, identity level English. You need to try to choose simple topics. Simple topics like family, friends, work, hobbies, interests, travel, goals, dreams, your past, your present, your future. Those are simple topics, not extremely difficult topics. Can you think about your family in English? Can you think about your friends in English? Can you think about your goals or your hobbies or your interests or your dreams or your travels in English? Can you think about them? And if you can't, then do it. Figure out how, right? That's step 3. Then finally, step 4. Step 4 is advanced topics. Okay, don't worry about step 4 because I can't reach that level yet, and that's an extremely advanced level. That's when you're able to talk about things like religion or politics or science or history or philosophy or economics. Okay? So don't worry about step 4. It's not that important right now. Step 1, 2, and 3 is what you should focus on. Those are what you should focus on. All right? Step 1, 2, and 3. All right, so that's how you think in English. All right, now let me go back. Okay. Maybe another person just doesn't understand me, so how do I deal with them? Ashraf, that's life. In life, many people are not going to understand you. It doesn't really matter what language you speak. That's just part of life. I speak English in a native English-speaking country, and yet, every day I have some time. There are times when somebody won't understand me. The way I say something, whatever. That happens in every language. So, Ashraf, what I will tell you is if another person doesn't understand you, how do you deal with them? Be patient. You need to learn more patience. Okay? Do I have VIP classes? I do. If you go to my website, you can buy lessons from me. Or you can send me a private message on HelloTalk, and I will try to arrange lessons for you. There's my YouTube channel you can follow, and there is my website you can follow. Okay? Okay, let's see. Absolute Principle says there are many grammar check apps on websites. There are now. Yeah. There are, and they're getting much, much, much better. Every day, the grammar websites get better at helping you with grammar. Yeah. Can I pronounce debut and make an example? Debut is a French word originally, Baha. That's why it's pronounced that way. And to debut something means to present something for the first time. Right? So if you present something for the first time, like a movie debut means that's the first time anybody has ever seen this movie. We're debuting this movie. It means to present for the first time. Okay? How about old people who easily forget something that they learned? Some advice. Lynn, old people forget things because old people stop learning. The longer you let your brain sit, and your brain is like your body. Your brain needs exercise. If you don't exercise it, then it is going to be fat and out of shape. So the problem with a lot of old people is they don't exercise their brain enough, and it has gotten to be fat and out of shape, and that's why it's hard for them to learn things. Or they forget things, right? So, Lynn, my suggestion is the secret of youth is keep learning. You can stay young if you always feel like you're trying to learn. Okay? And hello, Jack. Good to see you, my friend. How are you? You want to share your experience with English speaking? It will be hard to write them, but let me try. Before 1 or 2 months ago, I wasn't practicing English speaking at all because I didn't have anybody to talk to. Then I heard about talking to myself to improve my English speaking. I thought it won't work, though. After I started talking to myself in English, my fluency really improved. As teacher Mark said, ask yourself questions. I was questioning myself as if there was another person with me. I even started to see some dreams in English. They're rare, but they are an improvement at least. Yeah, good. Well done. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and again, it is talking to yourself, but it's not just talking to yourself. Talking to yourself sounds, well, one, it sounds kind of crazy, and two, it sounds like it's not prepared, like it's not something you really, like you don't really have a plan. You're just talking to yourself. But the way I'm describing is a formal plan. It's a methodology of learning how to practice and improve your thinking in a different language, right? To expand your ability of confidence. I'll tell you what I'm doing, everybody. I'm trying to build your confidence in language, because confidence in language begins in the brain. If you feel confident about your language up here, then you will feel confident about your language here. Okay. All right. Let's see. Any other comments? Let's see. Do native speakers of English use simple sentences most often? I believe that's probably true in every language for the most part. Yes. Language is like math in that way, that math should always be reduced to its simplest form. And language tends to reduce itself to its simplest form. Yeah. Except in situations where that is not what is intended, right? So if you go to a university, maybe not. If you are a lawyer or a doctor, maybe not. If you're giving academic speeches, maybe not, right? You're a professor, maybe not. But for most people, even as the professor may speak one way in school, but then when he gets home, his language becomes more simplified. Okay? Hello, Siraj. Collusion, how to use this word in a sentence. To collude means to work together with someone else, usually in a bad way, like you're doing something bad together. You're colluding. Right? So maybe there's a guy and he has some there's a guy who you both don't like the same guy, right? There's a girl that you don't like. She's a politician and you don't like her. And you have some information that will hurt her, and that guy, he also has some information that will hurt her. If you work together, right? You say, oh, I have some bad information about her, and you also have some bad information. Let's work together. We're colluding. All right? Can you bargain over the price of what? My lessons? No. Sorry, Huda. I don't bargain. I'm sorry. I'm here for free. That's why I don't bargain, right? I teach here hundreds and hundreds of hours without pay. So my price when I'm teaching is my price. There is no bargaining. Okay? Can I tell you, what does it mean I dropped the ball? I dropped the ball means I was supposed to do something and I didn't. Or I was supposed to do something and I failed. Okay? I dropped the ball. Like, for example, let's say you're a talk show, you have a talk show and you have a guest who's supposed to come. They're supposed to be here today, but you forgot to call them. And so now they're late. And you could say, oh, I'm sorry, I dropped the ball. And yes, Huda, as I said, debut is a French word. Yeah. Can we register for my RAN? Is it possible? Good question, Morteza. I don't know. I have had one student who was, I believe they were in Iran. So I think it's possible if you have certain ways of paying outside of the country. If you are capable of paying outside of the country, then maybe. Okay? you know how that works. There's all these crazy, you know, government stuff that I don't have anything to do with. Hello, Alcanost. Impromptu, also a French word. How much time does it take to learn English? Your whole life. Hello, Wilson. You faced the word, this pronunciation was too weird for you with which word? What, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious? Was that the word? It's easy to pronounce because there's a song you can learn. There's a song. Look up the song and you'll be able to learn it. Okay? Kids learn that. If the kids can do it, you can too. Siraj, I love questions like that, but you know, those questions are, you know, a little bit non sequitur, meaning not quite on topic, right? What's the definition of humanity? To be human. Let bygones be bygones. What does it mean? It means maybe we had a fight in the past, right? You and I, we used to fight. Now you meet me and you say, hey, you know, let's forget about all that stuff we were fighting about. Let's just put that in the past. The bygone means a bygone time, a time that has been gone. It's gone now. It's by and gone. Okay? So let bygones be bygones means let things that happened in the past stay in the past. Okay? Let's forget about it. We argued last week. Okay, let bygones be bygones. Forget it. Don't worry about it. We're good. We're friends. Okay? Oh, debut. Right. Okay. All right. Right. The last time I heard this question was my philosophy teacher. Right. And I like philosophy and I like philosophical questions, but, you know, I also try to stay on point, meaning stay on topic, you know? Baygon is the name of a pesticide. Well, that's different. Okay. Before I forget, you guys can go to my YouTube channel. You know, there's a time limit on Hello Talk, but there is no time limit on YouTube. So if you go to my YouTube channel, you can watch me as much as you want, and it won't cost you any time on Hello Talk. Okay, so you can go to my YouTube there. All right. What is the difference between knowledge and wisdom? Wisdom is knowledge over time. Wisdom is knowledge over time. Okay, so a baby can have knowledge, but a baby can't have wisdom. Why? Because the baby has no experience yet to have wisdom, right? But if that baby has knowledge for many, many years, over many years, that knowledge becomes wisdom. Okay, if knowledge combined with life experience gives you wisdom. Okay. Here is not a philosophy class. You know, life is a philosophy class, though, you know? Your philosophy teacher was questioning you about whether the earth is flat or round, and you made your own proof to show him? Okay. Jack, just recently there were some people who went to Antarctica because they were certain they were going to find the ice wall and, you know, prove that the world is flat. And in fact, they didn't. And they had to admit that the world is round. Okay, so yeah, it's kind of funny. So you can just go find that video from now on. You can just show them that video. Crocodile tears. What does crocodile tears mean? Crocodiles live in the water. Right? And when you see a crocodile, their eyes, because they're a water animal, their eyes always look kind of wet, right? Their eyes look like they're about to cry. But is the crocodile sad? Is that why the crocodile's eyes look like they're about to cry? No, crocodiles are not sad. They just have that. So when you say somebody has crocodile tears, you're saying they're faking it. You're saying they're pretending to be sad. but they're not really sad. Yeah. Those are crocodile tears. So, your brother broke something of yours and you're fighting with him, and now your parents come home and your parents are, yelling at you, and your brother starts saying, oh, but he hurt me. I swear he hurt me. He hurt me. And you could say, oh, those are crocodile tears. It means you're faking it. He's not really hurt. He's faking it. Crocodile tears. Okay? Or yes, maybe they have an eye allergy. Right. He was even questioning me about whether Americans have landed on the moon or not. Jack, is it possible that he's... is it possible that he's just pulling your leg? I guess what I mean is he's a philosophy teacher. Perhaps he's giving you these questions just as an exercise. He might be smart enough that he's just using conspiratorial concepts to get you to think. That's what a good philosophy teacher would do. They would challenge you by presenting you with something that you have to prove. Even if they know it's already true, they just want to see if you can. That's what philosophy is about, right? Having an idea is great, but you have to have enough logic to see the idea through, right? That's why I love Plato and Socrates. When you read Plato's The Republic, I love it because it's just a group of guys arguing, but they're arguing in a very logical way. Like they won't believe they are right unless they have the most perfect logical argument. That's what a good philosophy teacher should be doing too, is trying to get you to say, well, you might be right, but you have to form the perfect logical argument for me to believe it. He has suspicion about everything. Well, that's suspicious. His suspicions about everything, that's suspicious to me. Anyway. Yes, Auditor-in-Chief, it appears to be flat, but of course it's not. And Jack says, no, he really doesn't believe. I thought about that, whether he was just trying to test me, and as a result, it turns out he really does not believe. Well, that's a little odd, to be honest with you, Jack. There shouldn't be somebody in a teaching profession. Yeah, I'm sorry, but the teaching profession is not somebody who... It's not for people who can't form logic. That's my opinion. Face the music. What does face the music mean? Face the music means you did something wrong, and now you should go say, I did it. I was wrong. You can punish me now. Right? So when you come forward and say, I did the wrong thing, you are facing the music. Okay? Pull your socks up. What does it mean? Siraj, pull your socks up, I think just means pull your socks up, to pull your socks up. I don't think there's a idiomatic meaning. Let me check. Pull your socks up. Okay, that must be... We have another saying similar to that. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I think it's similar. Yeah, it's a British phrase. It comes from cricket, the game of cricket. So, interesting. Wait a minute. I'll tell you where it comes from. It just means you should get ready to work hard, or you should try harder. That's what it means. Okay, but it's a British expression, so I'm not real familiar. Okay. Is it better to learn idioms more or words? You need both. Kalamula, you need both. You need some idioms, but mostly vocabulary, but idioms help. Idioms paint a picture with fewer words, right? So sometimes with an idiom, you can say a lot with just a little. So sometimes idioms are really useful, okay? Morteza says, I'm looking for a specific sort of conditional sentence for that. For example, someone says went to the beach, but I didn't. Huh? So you went to the beach, but you didn't. I think I'm not sure I understand your question, Morteza. To wear your heart on your sleeve, it means that you put your emotions on the outside. So your heart is where you have your emotions, right? We all keep our heart and our emotions right here, right? But if you are a person who has their emotions on the outside, then that means that you're a little bit more easily upset by emotional things. Okay? So to wear your heart on your sleeve means maybe you get a little bit emotional too easily. Okay? Or too honestly. Yeah. Okay? To be honest, what about to be honest? Oh, I guess you guys are still arguing about the meaning of that sentence. Okay. After sending him some mathematical proofs, Proofs, sorry, about that, he said, there is something off. And I asked him where, and he didn't reply anymore. Yeah. Well, Jack, good for you. Good for you that you're challenging your professor to prove his BS. I don't care if you believe that stuff. You can believe whatever you want to believe, but you have to be able to show your work. Right? That's what they say in a math class. Jack, you're thinking like a mathematician. You're showing your work. You need to tell him, you can believe whatever you want to believe, but as a philosophy professor, you should be able to show your work. If you don't believe that the moon landing happened, okay, fine. Now show your work. If you don't believe the earth is flat, or the earth is round, then fine. Now show your work. Prove it to me. You know what you should say, Jack? Talk is cheap. Talk is cheap. Anybody can say anything. The earth is flat. The earth is 2 days old. You can say whatever you want. Prove it. Right? Hello to the new people. Time to knuckle down. Okay, means get serious, right? Yeah. Studying English makes me burn out and exhausted. How can I overcome it since I have to learn it for my education? Noah, when you study anything seriously, burnout is going to happen. If you're not getting burned out, then you're not pushing yourself enough. Okay? So I think that to be serious about things, you do need to be right at that edge of burnout. You have to be right there, right near the edge of burnout. If you're not doing that, then you're not really excelling at your highest ability. Sorry, but it's how I believe, okay? You have to push your limits a little bit to know what your limits are and to extend them, okay? So, first, it's going to be hard sometimes. Second, you need to do what you can to make it less painful, right? So if I need to read War and Peace, okay, I can read War and Peace, and that's going to be hard. It's a long book. It's very dry and difficult to read. You know, it's a very difficult book to finish. Okay, but maybe there's a movie I could also watch. Maybe there's an audiobook I could listen to. Maybe there's a discussion group I can join. And each one of those might make it a little bit more interesting and a little bit less painful. Right? So, two things. One, studying is hard because doing things at a high level is hard. Okay? Excelling in any way is hard. It's gonna be that way. Accept it. And two, do what you can to make it as interesting and enjoyable as possible. Are overusing idioms a problem or a turnoff? Probably. If, auditor in chief, languages like music, you have to know when to play the notes. All notes can sound good, but they're not always the right notes to play at that moment. Okay? Hello, Alil? To make hay while the sun shines. Not a common one anymore. We used to say that a long time ago, but we don't really say that often anymore. To make hay while the sun shines, it basically means to take advantage of whatever situation you can, right? So to make hay is the farmers. They make hay. They stack the hay. They put the hay together in bundles, right, in bales. And the sun is up. Hey, the sun is up. We better do the work while we can. That's what it means. Make hay while the sun shines means take advantage of whatever advantage you have now, okay? And it comes from farming. Muhammad, you can have a conversation with me if you raise your hand, maybe, but it would be better if you have something to talk about. He is a chameleon. What does it mean? A chameleon is a kind of lizard that can change its color to match its environment. So a chameleon, if you say he is a chameleon, it means he is able to go anywhere and fit in well. Right? So he can go to a group of people who like sports and he can talk about sports and everybody will like him. And he can go to a group of people who love music and he can talk about music and everybody will like him. And he can go to a business meeting and talk about business and everybody will like him. He's a chameleon. Okay? All hands on deck is a Navy saying. It's from sailing. And it means everybody come. It's time for everybody to do work. Like, we need all the help we can get now from everybody. Okay? All hands on deck means come on, work now. Loose links sink ships means loose lips sink ships means keep your mouth closed. That's all it means. And Siraj, by the way, you can look all these up online. These you don't need me for all of the. You can find these. Let me help you guys. Go here. TheIdioms.com. That's an idioms website that you can go to where most of these will probably be found. Okay? But there are better ways for you to learn idioms than just asking me one by one. Okay, let's see. You've never heard any Americans using these kinds of idioms. Well, the ones that he's mentioning, Siraj is mentioning some that are not super common, for sure. Okay? Idioms, the free dictionary, also good. Yeah, that one's fine too. Okay? To blow a fuse means to lose one's temper. That's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, to get angry. Yeah, I blew a fuse. Okay? In Persian, it means he or she is double-faced, can say, stay here, change his mind, and somewhere else. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. To hit the ceiling becomes extremely angry. Yeah. But I don't think that's just a boomer saying. I still think that one's, most people still know what that means, you know. He hit the ceiling means he got so angry like his head exploded. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Mohammed would like to talk to me for a few minutes. Oh, but I think, Mohammed, wait a minute, because Amir was first. Amir's been waiting. Let's talk to Amir first. Amir has been waiting. Hello.
Finally.
How are you,
have my
Amir?
voice?
Yes, how are you? Good to see you again.
Yeah. The pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much for having me on stage. I think it would be rude, to be honest, if I talk right now because the other guy would also ask, would love to just talk here. So I don't know how.
No, that's okay. That's okay. So, how are you doing?
Thank you so much. Today I'm really good, and today I'm a bit fresh and not worn out.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. So, what can I do for you today? Anything I can help you with?
Yeah. The other day we had a discussion. I had a discussion with a teacher, who used to be my like academic teacher, and especially for academic writing. I was asking him how like common the difference is between different types of reported speech. So we usually say that he said that and he said. So like I was wondering because sometimes it's really hard for me to refer back to a tense back and try to just, for example, I want to talk about someone who had told me something and I want to report that to another friend and I want to make it really like in a way that it would be like also not only grammatically correct but also to be more precise. So I was thinking like, do I have to always refer back, or can I say like he told me then the same sentence? Or yeah, that made me like be on the fence about that.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'll just say one thing. The word "that" is a funny word. It's occasionally we throw it in when we don't really need it. And it just sounds better for some reason. We think it sounds better, right? So I could say he said that blah blah blah, but I could also just say he said blah blah blah, and they're both exactly the same, and there is no loss of information or change of information in any way, shape, or form. So that is a word that occasionally is like an appendix; it just needs to be removed. So be careful about the word "that." I find myself doing it often in my writing, especially when I'm writing. There are times when I realize I don't need to use that. Why am I saying the word "that" when I don't need it there? I could just get rid of it and it's fine. Now, I will also say, depending on where you are, I also want to say that while it's admirable that you want to speak with the highest grammatical perfection, I also do tell people that there are certain kinds of grammatical errors that are really inconsequential. And this is kind of one of them, right? Should you say he said or he said that?
Yeah.
No one cares. No one in the real world really cares. There are maybe 10% of English teachers might, think this is a really serious argument to make. But I think that the majority of people will say, why are we even talking about this? This is not something to worry about, man. So I'm not trying to tell you shouldn't try to figure out the right answer, but I am just trying to tell you that, well, let's put it to you this way. I'll give it to you as a compliment. If you're focusing on things of this minor detail, that's what we call minutia. It's a great vocabulary.
Sorry to cut you off. Is it another way of saying perfectionism? Because
it's kind of perfectionism, yeah. It's somewhat of that along those lines, yeah. And just remember, again, Amir, that it's admirable that you want to really try to speak as well as possible. But you also need to remember, it's kind of like cars, like some people love cars, and when they buy a car, they spend a ton of money on the car, and they get the most expensive paint job in the world, and the nicest tires and the nicest radio and all these things, right? For me, I just want a car that goes from point A to point B. That's all I care about is, does it drive or not, right? And so language is the same way. You have to remember, what's the point of language? What's the purpose of language? It's again, from point A to point B. It's not about getting there perfectly. It's about getting there, right? So, I use this same argument sometimes when I'm talking about things that are important. My lesson here is that there are certain things in language that are very important, very critical, and there are certain things that are not as consequential, not as important. Advanced grammar questions like this, these are so rarely debated and really not that important, right? Also, accent. When people tell me, I want to sound like you, Teacher Mark. I don't want to sound like I was born in Iran or India or China, or I want to sound like you. And I make a comparison. I tell them, if you have two cars and they're both the same car, right? They're both a really nice Mercedes-Benz. But one car has a perfect engine, brand new, has a perfect interior that's beautiful, and the tires are brand new and perfect. But the paint job is not a good paint job. It looks ugly, and it's old. But the other car doesn't have a good engine, it doesn't have good tires, and the inside is not nice at all. But it has the nicest paint you've ever seen in your life. You've never seen a more beautiful paint job than that paint job. Which one do you want? Do you want the car with the good engine or the car with the good paint?
Definitely the car with the good engine.
Right, because driving is the point. Right? Driving is the point, not the paint. Same thing with your accent. What's the point of language? It's not your accent. That's not the point. That's the paint on the car. It's just the paint on the car. It's just what it looks like. Right? Communication is the point. Transportation is the point of language. Communication is the point. Transportation is the point of cars. Communication is the point of language. Right? So you should just remember that. So for you, you're a special case, right? I'm not telling somebody who's advanced that they shouldn't try to keep working on things. But I want you to keep some perspective. That's all. I just want you to keep some perspective. And especially the more advanced you get, I think learning anything, the more advanced you get, the more critical it is that you need to pay attention to what has the most value of improvement, right? What areas do you need to focus on that will have the most value for improvement? And like I said, there are certain things that you can improve them, but they're not going to have any substantial effect on the value of your improvement, right? So this question, nobody's ever going to know the difference, right? If you go give a speech and you say, he said that, or he said, nobody is going to come up and say, well, you really shouldn't have said he said that. You should say, nobody's going to do that, right? There's no world where somebody's going to correct your speech for something that small, right? So for a personal goal, that's fine. It's okay to have a little perfectionism is okay. But I want you to think about, is there anything else I could be working on that maybe I should be working on that might have more educational value for what I'm doing? Yeah. And I also want to say one last point, which is also that I think that you need to remember that sometimes learning becomes an exercise of ego. Right? Sure. Where you reach a point where you're getting so good that you want to show off. Right? and you just have to be careful about that kind of thing, because the better you get, that's great, but you always have to make sure you stay humble. Exactly. You have to make sure you stay humble no matter how good you get. And the way to remember that is, learning is like climbing a mountain. Okay? Some people, when they climb the mountain, they say, yay, I did it, I'm here, I'm done. Some people, when they get to the top of the mountain, they look and they say, oh my God, look at all the world that I didn't know about before, now that I can see, right? So for a lot of people, learning is an exercise of humility. The more you learn, the more you realize what you don't know, right? But that's right. That's right. But sometimes today, people learn and it's just about ego. I know this and you don't, right? So yeah, just keep humble and you'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah. About that you mentioned, I don't know if it's that advanced or not. Or even I said that again, but I had to. Yeah. So I was basically thinking about, because something that was off the top of my head was whether did you mention that? Oh, I said that again. So whether you mentioned I use that and not just a lot, or can I also use it for relative clauses, or it's better to use which or what? No, sorry, which or something else rather than just use that. I mean, is it what your point is, or about the that, because you mentioned it already?
Well, I mean, both are my point. Both are my point. So in this case, you can definitely alternate and say which or that.
Yeah.
That's good just from a standpoint of you should keep your language from being stagnant, right? So if you use the same words all the time, yeah, it gets stagnant. It seems weird.
Yeah.
So you should always kind of alternate that way. But from a standpoint of my main point is just which or that, nobody cares. So that's my main point, is just like, this is a question that even I think this is a question that you could have this argument with native English speaking English professors, and they would be interested in having this conversation with you. But if they're not an English professor, everybody else is going to be like, why are we having this? Nobody cares, man. Nobody cares. Did you hear? He said which. He didn't say that. He said which. I can't believe he did that. No, that's nobody's doing that. So don't worry.
Again, I finished my daily time reading.
Yeah, that's okay, man. That's okay, Amir. That's
Thank
okay.
you so much.
You're welcome, my friend. Good luck to you, and keep working on it, okay?
Have a really great
All right.
day.
Take care, my friend. All right. Okay, now let's go to Mohammed. Thank you for being patient, Mohammed.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Actually, it's my first time here, and this application, it's very new to me. This is my first try. I really enjoyed your lessons and your tips. That's why I've tried to have a good conversation with you.
Well, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. And you're in Egypt. Are you in Cairo or Giza or Alexandria?
I'm Egyptian.
Uh-huh.
I'm Egyptian, but I have been working and living in Saudi Arabia for 13 years.
Oh, okay. So where in Saudi Arabia? In Mecca, Riyadh? Where?
Wow, you know a lot. You know too much. Actually, I live in Dammam.
Dammam. Okay. Where is that? I don't know that one.
It's a very big city. It's in boundaries of Bahrain.
Oh, okay. All right. I know that. Okay. All right. Okay. So what can I do for you today? Did you have anything you wanted to ask me about or a question for me, or do you just
Yes.
want to chat?
Yes, actually, I joined the master program
Okay.
in University of East London. So I will study or pursue my studying in English. So I need to be perfect in English, but I already take or applied for some courses, online courses, and I feel that I get progress. But when I test my level, I stuck in the same score. I don't know why, because I feel hesitate or I feel confused, something like this when I have a real test. I don't know why it didn't achieve any progress.
Okay. So there's something that we call diminishing returns. Do you know what that means?
No. Can you explain, please?
Diminishing returns, it means the concept that the more you learn something, the less you will learn. Meaning, like in the beginning when you learn, you're learning big things like, oh, wow, I made this big improvement. But then next month, your improvement is like this. And then next year, your improvement is more like this. And the next year after that, your improvement gets like you're still improving, but you're only improving a little bit, right? So in the beginning, when you learn things, your learning leaps are big. But the more you learn, the smaller your leaps become, right? And eventually, many people, they reach a point where they feel like they're not getting any better. Like their progress is like this. It's flat now. And because it's flat, we have a word for that. We call it plateauing. To plateau. A plateau is it's a geography term.
Yes.
It means a high flat area. EAU, plateau. So the original meaning of plateau is a high, flat area of land. But the metaphorical meaning, it means that you're plateauing. It means that you feel like you're not making any progress anymore, that your progress is flat. Okay? Now, why does plateauing happen, and why do we have diminishing returns? Diminishing returns you can't avoid. That's just the nature of learning anything. The better you get, the harder it becomes to learn, right? And the more difficult it is to advance. However, there are a few things you can do to make sure you're trying to get the most out of your learning. One thing, and this is the most important one, 95% of students, they focus on trying to improve the things that they like. They focus on trying to improve the things that they're already good at, right? So they like speaking. They're good at speaking. So that's what they practice all the time, speaking, right? But if you're great at speaking, that's not the thing you need to practice. You need to practice the thing you suck at. Right? So whatever you're not good at, that's what you need to sit down and focus on, right? So for you, Muhammad, this becomes much more true. The more advanced you become, the more true this is. The more advanced you become, the more you need to know what your weaknesses are and know how to focus on them. Right? And this is, again, like I said, 95% of students do not do this. And the reason why is very simple. Because we don't like to do things that we're not good at. When you do something you're not good at, it makes you feel dumb. And so we run away from those things. We like to do the things that make us feel smart, so we do the things that are easy, right? But if you really want to become great at something, then you need to understand this concept, and you need to really remember that greatness only comes from focusing on your weaknesses. Right? So what I would say is you need to sit down and really analyze yourself to figure out what are the few weaknesses that I have. And then you need to sit down and come up with a serious plan of attack of, okay, now that I know what I need to work on, what I need to do, what can I do to fix those things? What can I do? You know, it's like exercising, man. Saying I need to exercise is great. But then you need an actual plan, right? You need to say, well, 20 minutes a day I'm going to run, and then I'm also going to do some jumping jacks, and then I'm going to do this, and then, right? That's a plan. Once you have a plan, now you can actually make progress. But if you don't have a plan, then you can say I need to exercise all day, but it doesn't do anything, right? So that's just the same is true with learning. You got to have a plan, and you have to know what it is and say, this is what I'm going to do, okay?
Okay, actually, I already have a plan because I joined online course or online English course, and I actually have been studying for 1 month, and also my tutor told me that you have a good progress because I have learned a lot of vocabulary and I can make a conversation every day with him, and he said that I am fluent in speaking English. I can express my ideas easily. Also, after I finish the lesson, I can go to YouTube and watch some useful videos, how to express myself and how to speak confident.
Right.
I try to study 3 hours per day for a day. But when I still, as you mentioned, if I try to make the test, I get the same score, but I feel, okay, it was 1 month ago. So after this month, and you study 3 hours per day, you should get some progress in the score. But I am stuck in the same score. I don't know why.
Maybe. But there's one problem with your theory. Maybe you're not giving yourself enough time in between. Right? So, you took a test and then you took a test again next month. okay, but maybe that wasn't enough time for you to really, really try to make any improvements in what you're trying to do, right? People come here all the time, Mohammed, and they say, can you help me with my IELTS test? It's next week. And I tell them, I can't help you with your test next week, man. What are you doing to me? Like, I'm not a wizard. I can't magically make your stuff, work for you. You need time to prepare. And I tell everybody, if you want to do the IELTS test, you need 6 months or a year to prepare in advance, right? That's
I totally agree with you.
That's how serious you should take it. It's an expensive test and it's a very hard test. So you're wasting your time and your money if you go into it unprepared. Okay,
True.
so you should definitely prepare. So, you might also benefit with just a few private lessons with a good teacher, like me. Maybe you need somebody who is a specialist who can come in and say, oh, okay, I see what your problem is. Maybe you need this and this and this, that's the thing about teachers. Teachers sometimes, they're not like gods or something, but they might just have an answer that might help you. Right?
Yeah.
So that's why I tell people is teachers are not gods. They don't have all the answers, but they are guides. They can make the journey a lot easier because they know something that you don't. Right? So you're at an advanced level. It's kind of normal to be at an advanced level to reach the point where you are. It's normal for everybody to reach a point where you feel like you're trying to get better, but it just doesn't come that quickly. But you also need to remember, nobody sees a glacier move, but they move.
Sorry?
Nobody can see a glacier moving. Do you know what a glacier is? A glacier.
No.
Glacier is like if you go to the Arctic or the Antarctic, and right. If you go to the north, there are giant pieces of ice, mountains of ice, and they move. Those are called glaciers, right? But can you see a glacier moving?
No.
No, but it is. Is it making progress though? It is.
Yes, yeah.
You
for
just
sure.
can't see it. Right? Yeah. That's kind of how learning is sometimes, man. Sometimes you're making progress, but it's like a glacier. You just can't see it.
Yes.
Like it's just like a little progress. You need more time. Yeah. Okay?
I want to discuss with you about small. You mentioned that you are private teacher. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me if I have just a lesson or one lesson with you, will you discover or you will find out my weaknesses and you give me some plan how to improve, and can you do something like this?
That's what I do.
From the first lesson?
Yeah, that's exactly what I do.
You will discover what is my weaknesses and wow, that's good.
Yeah, that's generally what I do, right? So here's the kind of teacher that I am, all right? If you want to take lessons with me every week, you can, and many of my students do, and they benefit from that, okay? But I like to be the kind of teacher that encourages independent learning, independent growth. So, for example, when you're a musicians, sometimes we study with a teacher for a few years, and then we have a few years where we're by ourselves. Does that mean we're not learning anymore? No, we're still learning, but we're learning by ourselves, right? Maybe we took the plan the teacher had, and we just did it by ourselves for a while. And then maybe a year later, we see a new teacher, and we say, oh, wow, he's great. He has something to show me, right? Maybe that's a different way to learn. I should go with him. So now you have a different teacher for a while, and you study with them for a while, and then you have another period of independent learning, right? So I think that teachers sometimes, when you're a child, you need a teacher every day to try to hold your hand and guide you with your learning. But the older you get, you just need them every once in a while. You just need to say, hey, can I get a lesson with you for once so I can work on this thing for the next 6 months, right? So yes, that is, I am good at that. Right? Some people want to study with me every week or a few times a week, and that's great, and you can. But if you're not able to afford that, or you just are not interested in that style, I'm also able to just get with you for one time or a few times and figure out what your problem is and develop a plan for you, and then give you that plan and say, okay, now go forth and learn.
Wow. That's very good from you. I actually appreciate your offer, and I want to share or if you can share with me how I can serve or something like I'm try to have a lesson or try to June. I want to make a lesson with you.
Okay. Send me a private message.
Okay.
And then we can talk about that. I have an assistant who helps me with my scheduling and booking and payment and things like that. So send me a private message on Hello Talk, and then we'll connect. And you can also go to my website if you want to. You can go to my website and just check out my website. It's right there.
Can you share the link here?
I just did. It's AFIEC English.
You already shared the link?
Yeah. Everybody, AFIEC, it means a friend in
Sorry, I had
every
a call,
corner.
Maybe I didn't hear anything.
Oh, that's okay. I said it's called AFIEC English. It means a friend in every corner. A friend in every corner English. That's what AFIEC means. Okay? All right, so you can go to my website and you can see my lesson packages and all that kind of stuff. And send me a private message and we'll talk about it. Okay, Mohammed? Mohammed, can you hear me? What happened? Are you guys able to hear me? Hello? Yes, you can hear me. Okay, Mohammed can't hear me, I guess. Mohammed, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, now you can hear me. Okay.
The
All
voice went down, so
Yeah.
maybe someone tried to reach me on the phone.
That's
So,
okay.
Can you repeat what did you say again, please? Because
What did I say? I don't even remember now.
the last part, only the last part.
Yeah, just message me and I'll get with you
Okay.
and we'll set up something, okay? Yeah.
Okay, it will be easy to find the link. You said that you will send or you will share the link with me.
Well, for Hello Talk, just click on my picture and then you can follow me on Hello Talk and then you can send me a private message and then we'll connect.
That's good.
Okay? And yeah,
That's
you can
good.
go to my website if you want to go to my website and look at it and you can see what I have. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mohammed. It was great to talk to you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you.
I'll see you next time.
It was a
Bye-bye.
pleasure to talk to you. Goodbye.
Okay, the fires, everybody. I don't really know anything about the fires except what you see on the news. I live very far away from California. Okay, so the fires are still going as far as I know. It's very terrible. Many people have lost their houses and everything they own. But I don't know anything about it because I live very far away from there. Okay? And yes, I removed the miscreant who was talking about stupid stuff. Yeah, what's up with that? That was weird. Hamid. Why would people think that that would be, you know, who does that? It's so weird. Social media is such a funny thing psychologically. Like why you think that makes a difference. Anyway. Okay. Thank you, Muhammad and Bahadur. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. You have a problem with P and B. I was talking about this the other day. Over in YouTube, let's see. I do read the comments, Alil. I do. I'm sorry. I'm just, sometimes it's hard because I get lost in the screens, okay? So I am seeing your comments in YouTube also, guys, okay? YouTube people, hello. I do see you. Think differently. And Maria, yeah. All right, so I do see you guys if you're over in YouTube. I'm sorry. I know I'm bad at that. I'll try to be better at it. So let's get back to P and B. How do you pronounce P and how do you pronounce B? If you have a microphone, this is a good way to learn. Let me show you, Okay, the difference between P and B is very clear when you have a microphone. All right, so for example, the letter B, if I say B, 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 you can hear it. Now let's hear the letter P if I put it right in front. P, P, P. What do you hear? What's the difference? B and P. What's the difference? B and P. Anyone? P has air. Yeah, P has air coming out, right? So you can practice this if you have like a tissue. You can put a tissue in front of your face, right? Let me show you. If you put a tissue in front of your face, P, P, P. Look at the air. Now do it with B. B, 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 P, P, P. Okay? So, yeah. It's slightly different with the lips, but that's the reason why people are confused by it, because it's not that different. P and B are similar in mouth position. Okay, so, guys, I've been here for almost 2 hours. It's about time for me to go. Okay? Let's see. Who is this? Say hi to him in private? Who is this? Oh, potential hunter. Yeah, don't worry. I'll hook up with him. Don't worry. All right. So, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream today. That's going to be it for me today. Do I remember you? I think I remember you, Daya. I think I've known a couple of Dayas, but I think I remember you. Yeah, the lips position does look, watch. B, 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 and P. So the lips are curled with a P sound, and you push air out. Okay? The lips with a B, 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 B. They're not curled, but they are pushed together. Okay? All right. Okay, guys, that's going to be it. Yeah, I'm sorry if you just came here, but come back next time. All right, follow me on my YouTube. You can go watch lots of my streams. I've got hundreds of streams on there. Go watch some. I've got lots and lots of tips. I have 74,000 followers on Hello Talk. That means that I have 74,000 people asking me questions, and I answer them. So that means I answer a lot of your questions. Right? Whatever questions you have, I have probably already answered it. Go to my YouTube channel, and you can watch and learn. All right? If you want private lessons, you can go to my website and get private lessons with me, or send me a private message on Hello Talk if you want to get lessons with me. Okay? Okay, guys, that's it. I'll talk to you guys next time. Have a good morning. Have a good afternoon. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.